Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. Another live, if you're here live, or another replay, if you're listening to the replay. Can you all let me know if you can hear me? Just say, yes, I can hear you. I want to make sure that my sound is working. So just let me know if you can hear me. Hello, everyone. Great. So good to be here with you guys today. There is a lot of shifting, twirling, acclimating, anchoring, purging. There is a lot going on physically in your body right now. And so I was really, really guided by the Galactic Federation of Light to come on today and share the messages they have for you, not me, that they have for you about what is actually happening during this physical ascension process that you're on. They want to break it down because it's all physical. And everything you're experiencing is the ascension process. And what they're saying is that the human, many of you are beating yourselves up. Is this ascension symptoms? Is this not ascension symptoms? Am I doing this right? Am I not doing this right? Am I off path? Am I on path? Why am I not connected? Why am I no longer hearing messages? Why do I no longer feel these intense energies and beings like I used to? All of these beautiful human questions. And they wanted to address all of this because what is happening right now is an embodiment physically and a physical experience of shifting frequencies. So every experience you're having technically is ascension. Everything. No longer looking at it from a dualistic lens of this is ascension, this isn't. This is the right way, this is the wrong way. This is how you do it, this is how you don't do it. It's not what this is about. What this journey is about, the reason you're here, the reason you're in a human form, is not to try to figure out whether you're ascending or not. It's knowing you are no matter what you're going through. It's an innate aspect of being in physical form, meaning it's naturally occurring. And so the more we awaken, learn, educate, understand, sometimes what happens is the human fixates so intensely on this ascension process that they create a massive amount of suffering around it. And so what the Galactic Federation of Light wants to share with you all right now is the breakdown of what's physically occurring, which you know you just may have forgotten. So let's break this down. And I'm going to talk about specific ways in which you may or may not be experiencing your own shifts in frequencies. Okay? And what the current energies are with the physicality of our bodies. So first and foremost, ascending is physical. It's all physical. It's all energy. And ascension is moving from a lower frequency to a higher frequency, alchemizing density into light, shifting from one dimensional field to another. That's ascension. That's ascending. And what many of you know is that it's the physical body that's ascending, right? Not you as higher consciousness. The physical body is what's ascending. It's the vehicle that is allowing you to experience what it's like to ascend in physical form. So you're in the vessel, you're strapped in, holding tight, experiencing this, trying to control it, perhaps, trying to make sense of it. And it's the physical vessel, the body, that is doing all of the work. You are just becoming aware of how to be in it. And you're becoming aware of how to be in it in a consciousness, in a field of consciousness that holds duality. So there's right, wrong, good, bad. And so you're experiencing this physicality, this physical shift within the body through the lens of duality. And this is what they want you to acknowledge and recognize. Recognize the lens you're using as you observe your own personal, physical ascension, ascending into higher states of consciousness, higher frequencies in physical form. So they want you to visualize the physical body right now, like a cup of water. Okay? And the water is the energy in you, the light. And you've got all these beautiful high frequency light energies moving through the body. But now they want you to imagine that somebody has come in and poured a large amount of dirt inside that cup of water. And the dirt is the third dimensional consciousness that you've experienced through your human journey. Traumas, pains, emotions, PTSD, whatever experiences you collected along the way in your physical body. So here you are, here we all are. As high frequency light continues in every now moment to move into our physical bodies, i.e., imagine water continuing to get poured into a larger cup, a larger cup, a larger cup. And as that high frequency light is being poured into the physical cup, physical body, that dirt is beginning to break up. That dirt is beginning to alchemize or be cleansed, and it begins to dissolve. It integrates into the high frequency light. Now that high frequency light dissolves down a little bit. And so the water looks a little bit murkier because the high frequency light that is constantly coming in is a much higher frequency than 5D, much higher. It's designed to be. And so your body is learning how to alchemize the dirt, the 3D consciousness, integrate it into the much higher frequencies, and acclimate, assimilate, and anchor it down into what we currently consider a third and fourth dimensional physical form. Many of us have been experiencing our now moments outside of the physical body. And so as we begin to awaken, we start to move into this physical form. And as we start to move into the physical form, because this is where we are ascending from, we bring our awareness in, we embody, we embrace, we be inside. We are feeling and experiencing the physical, energetic shifts of the mud or dirt alchemizing into the high frequency light. Everything that you are experiencing right now can be broken down into dirt, acclimating, assimilating, and anchoring, alchemizing into the light. Every physical symptom you're feeling, every ailment, every disease. You see, what happens is that the more we move into the body, the more we feel everything. And when we start to use the lens that the Galactic Federation of Light provides for us, we become very neutral in this physical ascension. We see it as physical. You are not the dirt, the third dimensional experiences that are alchemizing into light. You're not the physical sensations or the judgments and attachments to them. It's a very simple, when we break it down, process. But because the human is standing in a third dimensional field of consciousness, we are experiencing a lot of physical sensations. If I'm really hungry, is that ascension symptoms? If I'm not hungry at all, is that ascension symptoms? If I have headaches, is that ascension symptoms? If I'm dizzy, is that ascension symptoms? It is all ascension symptoms. All of it. There's no such thing as non-ascension symptoms, basically, is what they're saying. The human journey is an ascension symptom. It's an ascension experience. And because it has become very physical for us, because we have moved into the body, everything we're experiencing is a physical shift. Everything. If you're feeling more anger, oh, there's some dirt that's moving around. If you feel depressed, oh, there's some dirt that's moving around. Why is it moving around? Because there is a constant influx of very high frequency light always moving into my body in every now. And the body is taking that high frequency light, trying to acclimate, assimilate, and anchor it into my physical body, while at the exact same time, it's rattling up the dirt. And when the dirt rattles, I feel it physically through pains or aches or headaches or nauseousness, dizziness, tiredness, exhaustion, not being able to sleep, irritability, frustration, anger, rage, whatever. That's the alchemization process. You're alchemizing. You're alchemizing right now. One of the experiences of alchemization right now that a lot of humans are experiencing is this feeling of no drive, no purpose, no connection, no alignment, not feeling anything that's in a really high frequency or vibration anymore, not feeling the guides or beings around you like you used to, almost as if you have been cut off, like the plug has been taken out of the wall. Many of you are feeling this. This is part of the ascension process, and this is what is occurring. Many of you were out of body, tapping into these higher states of consciousness, these beings, these frequencies, out of the body. So it was intense. It was potent. It was powerful. There was this all-knowingness that there is so much more beyond the human experience. Right? It was like, oh my God, I can feel it. I can see it. I know it. You can't take this from me. And if you've had those experiences, it's very challenging to come into the body and settle into the density that you're here to be in while you are continuing to open up to that which you felt, that which you experienced. So what is happening is you have to come into the body to begin to navigate this ascension journey consciously. And when you come into the body, it is a much subtler, much more physical, i.e., denser experience of the higher realms. So when you were experiencing it in another now, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 6 months ago, it was intense. It was like the volume was turned all the way up. And now that you are unconsciously or consciously awakening into higher states of consciousness, you are being directed back into your body. You're feeling more physically, emotionally. And when you move back into the body, that volume turns down. Because you are designed to be able to navigate this as you do the dishes, as you drive your car, as you go grocery shopping. And if it is, the volume is turned up to 10, it's going to be very challenging to do the human experience in a third dimensional field that you're in right now. And so this subtlety makes the human feel as if they are disconnected. They're no longer aligned. They're no longer hearing. They're no longer receiving. Quite the opposite. You're having to do it now inside a very dense physical form. It feels very different. It's like you're handcuffed, blindfolded, and being pushed down with tons of blankets and pillows or cement blocks. And now you're having to connect. Now you're having to feel the higher frequencies, the higher realms. And it feels very different than when you were outside of the body, experiencing it in this free state, no handcuffs, just super massive fireworks, right? Just like, wow. So this is occurring for many humans right now. This feeling of withdrawing, this feeling of I have no desire, no pull, no push, no purpose. It is you recalibrating energetically into your physical body. It's you surrendering into, this may feel like I'm blindfolded for a while. You are navigating this now in a dense form. Your awareness is now inside. And you're inside looking out. And you're saying, how the hell do I do this again? At the same time, the dirt is alchemizing. So you're feeling so much in every now. And you're believing that what you are feeling as denser consciousness is you not ascending. And do you see how that is the absolute opposite of what is occurring? That you are actually ascending right now. And that it takes, for many of us, this process of what feels like descending back down into the human body. Because this is all about ascending in physical form. feeling the density, feeling the car that you're in, that you're encased. And the way you navigate through this is by remembering this. This is a natural process. You are naturally moving into higher states of consciousness in every now moment, regardless of what dirt you are experiencing and how the physical body is responding to its ascension path. There's no such thing as these are the ascension signs. These are the symptoms that you will feel. And if you're not feeling these, then you're not ascending into these higher states of consciousness in your body. That's not true at all. Many of you don't have any of the symptoms and signs that people talk about. Many of you have all of them. Why? Because we all are unique jars of water. And we all have different mud, dirt in it. All based on our human journey. The Akashic records. All of it. We're like a petri dish. We're an experiment. And so how do you start to come back online? You surrender into the absolute knowingness that you are already online. You're just learning how to navigate that onlineness inside the body. So you're sort of waiting until it clicks. Instead of saying there's something wrong with me, I'm not feeling anything. Why am I feeling this? Why am I experiencing this? This doesn't feel like ascension. I'm not ascending. I'm not moving into higher states of consciousness, blah, blah, blah. You say, okay, wait a minute. Let me reframe this. Let me remember what these higher dimensional beings are saying to us right now. I'm a glass of water. There is always more water being poured in. And there is dirt inside that water, that glass of water. And I am learning how to be in that glass of water, contained, restricted, suffocating at times, feeling all of the dirt that has to be felt to alchemize into the water. While I am remembering how to align and connect to the higher dimensional beings, to my higher self, to so much more that is in a higher frequency than I may be in the body right now. And the more you snuggle into this glass of water, recognizing that there is nothing that you are doing wrong. Nothing. Can you start to see that if you feel no drive, no passion, no connection, no purpose, no messages, all of that, can you recognize that just by experiencing that, feeling that, recognizing that, and observing that, that means you're in the body? It means you're in the body. And if you're in the body, you're ascending. It's just taking you a while to resituate yourself, to get into the driver's seat and say, wait, how does this car work again? So some of the tips that you can start to practice as you are moving through this massively physical shift right now. There's a couple steps they gave us. One, understand its energy. It's not you. It's energy. That's it. Understand that it's the body, not you, that's ascending. And that the body is very intelligent. It knows how to do this. It's designed to do it. You're just a passenger. right? So that's step one. Understand its energy. Understand, remember what is going on an energetic level. Don't take it so personally. Step two, allow whatever you're experiencing to be had, to be experienced, to be felt, no matter how long, in linear terms, long, you are experiencing it without judgment, if you can. This is whatever you're experiencing is part of ascending. There's no such thing as, oh, I'm disaligned, disconnected, I have no drive, I have no purpose, I must not be ascending. There must be something wrong with me. This is a part, this is a piece, this is a chapter for many of us in the ascension path. We literally unplug from the wall and drop back into the body, and it gets real quiet. Crickets. Because we are realigning and reconnecting with everything inside the body. Because we are designed to walk around in a third or fourth dimensional form for quite some time, connected to the quantum field in a very subtle way. That's what you are stepping into. So learning how to allow whatever you're having without a judgment. Trust and know that this is you ascending, and you can have all your human emotions around it. But can you remember that this is how you are ascending? This is physics. This is physics. This is energy alchemizing. This is you moving into the body. Third step, feel it all. Feel it. Feel the anger or rage. Feel the joy. Feel the love. Don't attach to any of it. Feel it. Give yourself permission to have it. But in that having of it, in that feeling of it, you are recognizing that this is part of ascension. Simple, easy, no big deal. Next. Simple. Throw up your hands. Stop attaching to it. Right? Feel it. Let yourself have it. But don't take it so seriously. Because I can promise you that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're navigating right now is your ascension path. It's you ascending. I should say, it's your physical body ascending. Step 4. Intend what your body is shifting into. Intend what your body is shifting into, meaning hold the knowingness that even though you feel whatever you're feeling right now, you are currently shifting into higher states of consciousness. In this now moment, intend it and know it. Intend it and know it. So just because you're experiencing whatever sort of expansion, contraction, symptoms you may physically be experiencing, which we're going to continue to experience, know that at the same now moment, you are shifting into higher frequencies. And 5, the human loves this one, they're saying. The human loves this one. Stay present. Stay present. Many times when we are moving into more of an awakened state, we attach to a future. Where am I going? When am I going to get there? How am I going to get there? What's it going to look like? Why am I not there yet? Why am I still here? Why am I still feeling this? I don't want to feel this anymore. I want to feel something else. I want to be somewhere else. I want to experience something else, right? When the human begins to really awaken, which we're doing, we are learning more. We're remembering more. We're having more clarity. And sometimes there are stories we tell ourselves about this. There are ways that we want it to look, unravel, feel, experience. And because we are in a third dimensional field of consciousness, we unconsciously sort of move into a future state. When am I there? When will I experience that? When will I have that? So the more we can stay present, the easier this will be to go through. The easier it will be for us to go through this. So having said all of that, starting to really understand even more, because we can't hear it enough, that this is a physical shift. We can put all the different words to it, all the different techniques, but breaking it down to a very elementary experience, this is density shifting into light within your own physical body, and you're experiencing it. Now, with that being said, with all these different physical experiences you're going to have, and you've had, and you're going to continue to have, there are pockets of energies that we move through, right? There are pockets of energy where we feel more expanded. And when you have that more expanded feeling, what is happening is the floodgates have opened on that glass of water, and there's a huge pouring down of high frequency light, right? And so when there's massive high frequency light coming down, portal has opened. We can feel ourselves in a more expanded state, or we can feel ourselves knocked out. Like the body is like, holy cow, way too much energy. I'm going to sleep. So visualize when people talk about portals, eclipse energy, full moon energy, what is happening during those pockets is the water faucet has turned on. And typically there's just this really gentle flow of light, water coming in from the sun. But when we go through these pockets of intense energy shifts, there is a huge flood. The faucets get turned on. There's double faucets coming in. And we can feel ourselves in expanded states. And when the faucet shuts back down into a little bit of a slower trickle again, guess what happens? We start to acclimate and assimilate all of that light that came in. And guess what you feel? Exhaustion, sadness, traumas, pain, fears, worry. There's a contracted compression state that happens because the dirt got stirred up, right? The dirt was just kind of chilling. And then this hot waterfall of light comes in and the dirt gets stirred up. And it's like, holy shit, I was in a really beautiful state, massively expanded, high frequency. What is this? How could I feel this all of a sudden? And it's a massive, drastic shift that can be felt for many of us. And we call it like an expansion and contraction state. So what's happening right now, because we're about to step into a really massive portal in the next day or two. What's happening right now is we are in a compressed state. So we meaning the body. So it's like the body is compressing or restricting or tightening, preparing itself energetically to expand in order to receive the massive amount of high frequency light that's about to come onto the planet. Why does this high frequency light come on the planet? It's how we ascend. This is the design. And what you'll notice and what you've been noticing is 2020 has had more of these pockets of flooding of light, portals, activation moments, whatever you want to call it, than ever before. Because we are ready. Because the body can handle it. Because we're rock stars and we're freaking nailing this ascension path process, even though you may be beating yourself up. The body is capable of holding more and more floodgates of high frequency light. And the more of these floodgates we get, the more the body is able to anchor down higher frequencies. It takes time after time after time. High frequency light after high frequency light after high frequency light, over and over and over, for the body to slowly anchor higher frequencies. It's a very slow process, and yet it's happening very quickly for the third dimensional human in this timeline. We are jumping timelines very quickly. We're doing a great job in the human body. The human body is doing a great job. But right now, in this now, we are in this squeezing trash compactor, contracted state. The body is preparing. And so what this may feel like is a pause, irritability, uncomfortableness. You felt this many times, right? This is nothing new. A massive amount of focus on the external, right? A massive amount of focus on what's wrong, on what's not going right? On the bad things that are happening. It may be very difficult for you to see the higher perspective. It may be very difficult for you to see non-duality, holding a neutral perspective, right? It could be very difficult right now because you're in the body and your body is contracting down. So it is not as easy, perhaps, to look out at the external and see it from that higher perspective. That's why we need to hear it over and over and over when we are in these squeezing, trash compactor, contracted states. And we're going to continue to go through these phases over and over and over again as we physically shift dimensional fields. We cannot just skip into a fifth dimensional field like, we're skipping on some beautiful grass and flowers and, all peace and love and rainbows. It's not how it feels, right? You tell me. It's not how it feels all the time. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with feeling uncomfortable. When the caterpillar is in that larva stage and it's squeezing and wiggling its way into the butterfly, right? There's a moment where the butterfly starts to squeeze out of that larva state. It's probably kind of uncomfortable, right? It's a physical shift. The butterfly is literally squeezing itself out of the larva. Over and over and over, squeezing, shaking, right? It's not like it just goes like this and all of a sudden the butterfly just combusts it out into a butterfly. It squeezes through. It doesn't look peaceful when it's doing it. There's some sort of physical shift happening. So it's okay that this physical shift in consciousness, going from a 3D to a 4D to a 5D, feels crazy at times, feels uncomfortable at times, feels like you're losing your mind, that you're bipolar, that you're sick of it, that you want to jump out of your skin, that you want to quit, that you're done. Because we are going through this, we're repeating the same cycles. Do you understand? Expansion and contraction, we're repeating the cycles. Expansion, contraction, high frequency light, contract, high frequency light, contracting, high frequency light, contracting. What do you think the physical body's going through? Do you have illnesses popping up? Yes. Do you have disease that is getting more profound or intense? Yeah. Can you see it through the lens of physical consciousness? Physical consciousness shifting. You're not it. You're watching the natural process of it. You're watching the natural process of consciousness. This is why this is the most miraculous experience, and why it is a miracle what's occurring. Because we are in a physical form, in a very, very low, you can't get much lower than a third dimension. We are in a very low third dimensional field. Shifting dimensional fields, which means shifting frequencies physically in the exact same form. What does that mean? It means the form has to shift. What does that mean? It means you're going to feel everything. Nauseousness, dizziness, sickness, wanting to get out of the body, gaining weight, losing weight, all kinds of stuff. Feeling aligned, feeling disconnected, all the emotions, everything, all of the traumas you've experienced. Think about that for a minute. You actually have to feel all the trauma you've ever had in your life, in the body, as you ascend. We call it, the third dimensional human calls it healing. The Galactic Federation of Light calls it alchemizing. It's the dirt that you're alchemizing. Do you see how miraculous this is? Do you see how physical it is? Do you see how nothing is wrong? Do you understand, for those of you that are feeling this place of blah, no purpose, no drive, feeling nothing, right? Just feeling flatlined. Do you understand, or can you start to tap into this remembrance of, oh, I'm starting to come back into my body, which quiets everything. I'm learning how to feel everything now from inside, and it's much subtler. Because I am designed to stand in this form as it shifts, feel everything as it comes up, and connect and align to the higher dimensional realms. It is not going to feel like this, like this massive, like Garden of Eden, like, oh my God, I'm connected. Oh my God, I am it's not like that. It's subtle. It's an every now moment where you are feeling anything else, sadness, anger, joy, and at the same time, you are feeling the galactic beings. You are feeling the angelic realm. You are feeling and hearing your higher self. It is all happening in a now moment. It's not black and white. It's not one or the other. And when it all happens in the now moment, you are whole. You are home. You are in. You're clicked in. And when that happens, it's very subtle. Everything you're experiencing in the higher realms is subtle. So we have an expectation of staying in the higher realms, these expanded states, that's how it's going to be. That it's going to feel like, oh my God, like just this elated state all the time. That we're going to hear all of this stuff all the time. All these guides are going to be talking, and it's just going to feel so amazing. And that may not be what it feels like. Doesn't feel like that for me. I'm moving up and down in these dimensional fields and in these frequencies, feeling everything in the same now. So if I feel anger in the now moment, I'm also hearing my guides. I'm also connected to the higher realms. I'm also seeing things from a higher perspective. If I get angry at a person because they're doing something that annoys me, I am also connected to higher self. I am also hearing the Galactic Federation. I am also connected to the quantum field. I can have anger and be connected to the higher realms. I can feel sadness and be connected to the higher realms. That's how we are designed to navigate this. So we are no longer looking at this way or that way, higher frequencies, lower frequencies, the right way, the wrong way. If I'm ascending into 5D or New Earth, then it's got to look like this. It's got to be me in an open-hearted, expanded, amazing frequency all the time. And I've got to be hearing all of this all the time. And if I'm not, there's something wrong with me. Throw that out the window. It's not how it is. Now, as we continue to do this ascension experience, and as we continue the body anchoring the higher frequencies over and over and over, we will eventually find ourselves being in the 5D consciousness a lot longer. We will start to hear the guides, the higher dimensional beings, a little bit louder and a little bit louder. But we don't go from 0 to 12th grade overnight. You don't just turn on and boom, everything is lit up and it's go time. And that's the unfortunate part about awakening into this process, is that many humans want to go from kindergarten to 12th grade. And they want to be in 12th grade, and they're beating themselves up that they're not in 12th grade. Well, there's a lot of grades you got to go through. Your body has to go through. That's just how physics works. That's how energy alchemizes. It's the natural process of shifting frequencies. Unfortunately, we can't just shift from a 3.7 to a 5.2. Otherwise, this would be a walk in the park. We have to go from 3.4 to 3.5 to 3.6. It's not a bad thing. It's not a law or a rule. It's how energy works. It's how it shifts in a physical form, in density. When you're really in a very low frequency, this is how it works, unfortunately. So what are the expectations that you're holding? Right? We look at all these other people that are experiencing all these amazing things, and we say to ourselves, why am I not? What's wrong with me? Why am I not activated? Why am I not hearing all these beings? Right? Because your body is doing its best to alchemize the dirt right now. And those other humans that are having those experiences, you don't know what their experience is. You don't know what they are going through. You don't know what their journey is like. You don't know if they're actually in their body, courageously grounded down, allowing themselves to feel everything else that's coming up. Perhaps they're very much out of their body experiencing all those great things. And perhaps they're not. But you don't know. You are designed to come home to you and trust your process. Love the hell out of everything that you're feeling and going through. If you are disaligned, you feel disaligned, disconnected. If you feel like you have no passion and no purpose right now. If you feel like you are flatlined and nothing makes sense and you don't want to be here and you're done. If you feel like, what happened to my abilities? You're coming back home to you. You're learning how to do it inside the body. Let your body show you. Everything you need to know, every ability you have ever had, will have, and are going to have is inside the body. And with that comes every other emotion. You can't have one without the other. But you can have compassion. You can have empathy. You can love yourself. You can bring yourself back to this remembrance over and over and over again. So what they're saying right now is try not to put yourself in a box. Try not to restrict yourself in terms of how this is supposed to be experienced. See it as the glass of water, which is your body. See it as this physical shift. And you may not like what you're going through. It's okay. Can you hold step number 4, which is the intention and knowingness that you're shifting? If you hold the intention that you're stuck, that this is you, that you're going to be experiencing this, that you've screwed up, that you're effed, then guess what you're going to perpetuate? You're going to hold yourself in that consciousness. It's almost like you're going to restrict. You're going to tighten. So instead of allowing the body to do what it needs to do, your thoughts and beliefs are going to put you into this restricted energetic state where you stop the flow of ascension. If you stop trying to control it and say whatever is always, and it's always moving me into higher states, and my body is doing this, as uncomfortable as it is, as much as I can't stand it, that's surrendering, then your body will lead the way for you. You're not what's being experienced in the body. And all of your team, all of your family of light, all of your guides, all of the angelic beings, masters, dragons, whoever you connect with, they're around you in this now moment. There's nothing you need to do. They're with you right now. They're connecting to you right now. They're communicating with you right now. It's a matter of knowing that, trusting that, and choosing to believe whatever you feel, whatever you hear. Because even those of you that are saying that you are disconnected, that you can't hear, you can. You can. Reframe what you are telling yourself. Reframe what you're saying to yourself. There's nothing wrong with what you're going through. I am ascending. I am shifting into higher states of consciousness. I am aligned. I am connected. I can hear and feel and experience my family of light. Say that to yourself over and over and over. And that's your reality. Instead of, I'm disconnected, I'm blocked, I can't feel, I can't hear, I can't receive, I'm not ascending, there's something wrong with me. Are these ascension symptoms? Are these not? Let all of that limited belief thinking go. I am ascending in this now moment. I am moving into higher states of consciousness, meaning your body. I am aligned and connected. I can hear. I can receive. Believe it. Believe it. Choose a new way of framing every experience you're having. When you find yourself wanting to ask, is this an ascension symptom? It's all ascension symptoms. If you find yourself saying, am I not ascending? Am I missing something? Is something wrong with me? Hear this message. that you are ascending, that you are shifting into higher states of consciousness, that this is the process, this is the journey, this is what it feels like, this is what it looks like for you in this now moment. And I am good. I am okay. I am nailing this. I'm nailing it. Because the more you can get this under control, meaning the more you can just let this be, the more you can let go of the obsession over, am I ascending, am I not ascending? Are these ascension symptoms, are these not? What does this look like? The more we can let that go, the more we can start to focus on what we're here to be and do, which is recognize that we are holding higher states of consciousness no matter what we're experiencing. And we are designed to stand in the arena of this third dimensional field, vibrating out that consciousness while we are still going through a physical shift. Do you understand how crazy this is? Right? I've said this multiple times. It's insane. So you got to remember that you're a glass of water. You're in a glass of water, and as much as you're feeling the dark or the dirt, you're also being asked to step into the water and to emanate out the water, while you're also feeling the dark or the dirt. I don't like calling it dark. The dirt. It's like, what? What do you want me to do? Excuse me? I've got to feel all the dirt. And yet at the exact same time, I've got to feel the water, the high frequency light. And I got to stand in this arena of hell sometimes, emanating out the light while I'm also feeling the dirt. Yep. Over and over and over again. And then do it again. And then do it again. We are all warriors of light. That's why you're here. Whatever name you want to call it, doesn't matter. You're a warrior of light. You're here to consciously move through this physical ascension. You're here to stand in physicality, move deeper into 5D consciousness, 6D consciousness, 7D consciousness, as you continue to alchemize the dirt. And as you continue to make nothing wrong. And it's a natural process. It's a natural process, i.e., it naturally happens. Take the pressure off. Okay? So we're about to go into more of an expanded state in the next day or two. So remember, high frequency lights flooding in, rattling up that dirt. So you may feel expanded, you may feel high, you may feel buzzing, you may feel exhausted. You may feel anything else in between. Just feel it. Because as soon as we come out of that, we're going to contract back in. And we're going to be like, what the hell is this that I'm feeling? There's no such thing as staying in this expanded state. And there's nothing wrong with contracting back down. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. To move into a heart-centered space, right, as you are also feeling the dirt, you want to visualize that heart center. So it's a fourth energy center. Visualize it wherever you want to visualize it in your body, but visualize it as an energetic center. Visualize it as a pulsing frequency almost, right? A space, a room, an opening. And bring your awareness into that energy center through your breath. So you move the breath into that center. Eyes closed, because when you close your eyes, you shut off all the external stimuli and you can really focus energetically on the energy. And then when you breathe, Adam, into that space, you can settle into what does that frequency of love feel like? Because the heart center holds love. It holds Christ consciousness. The humans call it Christ consciousness, which is unity consciousness, which is, oh, wow, everything is actually one unified field of consciousness. Everything is actually from source. With your eyes closed, it's very easy. When you open your eyes and go to the grocery store, not so easy, right? But when you're at the grocery store and you bring your breath into that fourth energy center, see it as a room, see it as a hammock, see it as whatever you need to actually visualize yourself bringing awareness into that energy, because it's an energy, it's a pulse, it's a tone. And when you settle into it, you will start to feel the frequency of love, the frequency of unconditional love and acceptance. This feeling of a morphine drip, I like to call it, right? Where like everything freaking is awesome. Everything rocks. I'm freaking solid right now. All is good. And so that is a technique that can assist you in moving into that heart center. It's also it's also a way to move into that 0 point field. It's the same thing. When the human uses visualization, it allows us to move into energy centers easier. So if you need to see this heart-centered space as a room and you're laying in the room, do that. If you need to see it as a pulse and you're moving into the pulse, do that. Right? Whatever you need, but use your breath to bring you there. That way, when you're out in a chaotic external environment and you're starting to notice yourself with have anxiety or anger or stress from the external, you can practice with your breath, bringing yourself into that energy center and calming yourself down. You may not respond in the same way, right? Because we're navigating all of this. We're navigating the arena inside the body. And we have to navigate the arena. We have to navigate that external chaos. You can't hide from it. You're going to go out and stand in it. You're in it. If your body temperature is changing, you have to trust that there is something energetically happening where your body, if it's moving into a lower temperature, your body, your body is slowing down frequency for whatever reason. So there may be a slowing down inside your body of these frequencies so that you can focus more on the dirt. When the energies speed up or increase, you may feel hotter. You may get hot flashes or heat, sweating, right? That's when the body starts to spin and move into much higher frequencies. There's no right or wrong, but if you're finding yourself in a little bit of a lower body temperature, what else is happening inside the body? What's coming up? Are you ignoring something? If the body's frequency is slowing down, it's trying to get you to pay attention to something. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of you that are sweating a lot right now. And time is absolutely speeding up because as we speed up in frequency, time condenses. So when we are in lower frequencies, i.e. we're spinning lower, the energy and frequencies in our body are slow spinning, we stretch. Consciousness stretches and we experience a longer time. Like a record that slows way down and it goes, we are now shifting, right? As we increase our frequency in our body, we start to step out of a linear, slow frequency, and we start to squeeze, we start to condense, and time squeezes in. And so an hour will squeeze into what feels like 5 minutes, right? It's squeezing, it's contracting in. And that's what's happening. So the more we increase our frequency, the more we are speeding up the frequency, and the more we step out of this this expansion of time, and we contract it, and we feel less of it. Right? An hour is a minute. Yeah, if you're finding yourself sweating a lot, you guys, it's the high frequency light in your body. It's your body doing everything it possibly can to to anchor down the light. And it's there's a lot happening. A lot. Ringing in the ears is you being in the physical body. So you're in the body, and you are tapping into higher frequencies around you. You're tuning into it, almost like a radio station. The radio station is your body, and you're turning the radio station and starting to tap into other radio stations, other frequencies. So not a radio station, you're a radio. Your body's the radio, and you're starting to tune the radio into different stations, right? And so when you hear that ringing, you're hearing higher frequencies, typically beings around you, angels, masters, fairies, light beings. You're picking up on that frequency because they are all in a higher frequency. And a lot of times that higher frequency will sound like a tone. So your physical ears, because you're in the body and your physicality is shifting, your physical body is what's going to allow you to feel the higher frequencies. And so you are physically starting to feel, hear, tap into higher frequencies around you. You'll hear this this really high-pitched tone, a high-pitched kind of like, right? It's your physical body tapping into, turning the radio station to higher frequencies. So yeah, pain in your joints, pain in your body, pain is it is the trash compactor right now. It's the contraction of the body preparing to expand. So it feels like you're old, like your bones are aching, right? It's this massive trash compactor contraction preparing for a opening up to allow all this high frequency light. Is a massive flooding of light starting around the 3rd, give or take. Happy Canada Day. Okay. Yeah, if you have no energy, right? If you're in that phase, I've been there many, many times. I'll probably be there who knows when again, right? Where you feel like you've been run over by a truck. Just visualize it as your body actually working overtime to try to anchor down the higher frequencies that are in your body. And so it's exhausting for the body. It's a lot of work to do to acclimatize. It's a lot of work to anchor light. It's a lot of work energetically. It's exhausting what we're doing. And we have to allow ourselves to have that exhaustion without making it wrong. Because there's nothing wrong with it. Instead, look at it like, woohoo, I'm anchoring more light. Let's go. What else do you got for me? That's how I see it. Always. Let your body shut down. If you have the ability to let the body shut down, let it shut down. If you don't have the ability, then be as gentle as possible. It's hard to communicate what's going on with all of us to people that are not experiencing it. And so what you want to do is recognize that it's not your job to convince somebody that your truth is the truth. It's not your job to make somebody understand you or believe you. It's your job to speak your truth. It's your job to honor your truth. It's your job to be your truth, and that's it. And the other humans get to have any experience, reaction, or response they want. Right? It's just different frequencies. Those humans that may not be able to understand what you're going through, it's okay that they can't. They're in a different frequency. Not better, not worse, not higher, not lower, just a different frequency. And they just can't understand you because they're not experiencing what you are. And to try to explain it to them in order for them to understand it might be frustrating. So you express perhaps in the way that you know how, best know how, you express what you're going through without an attachment to any sort of response. So you're just expressing your truth, period. There's no attachment to it, right? Think about like Jesus walking around, right? He just expressed his truth. He just said, I'm going to heal you. I'm going to move, I'm going to walk on water. He didn't care what the response was, right? So if somebody's asking you what you're going through, I don't understand, or why do you feel this way? If you fall into, okay, how would Jesus speak, right? Okay, I'm just going to speak my truth without an attachment. It doesn't matter because you're never going to be able to control how somebody responds or reacts, and it's not your job. And if you try to, or you're attached to their response, then you're going to keep yourself quiet. You're going to tiptoe around it. You may, make a little fib here and there, try to soften the truth, right? And that's okay as you navigate this. But just pay attention to, I'm speaking my truth just to speak my truth without an attachment to anything other than this is my truth, which is sovereignty, right? So children and toddlers will be going through the ascension process a little bit differently. Adolescents are currently going through it, and maybe, you don't want to pigeonhole this or put it in a box, but there are many teenagers and, in people that are in their early 20s that are almost like caught in the middle, so to speak. So almost like in purgatory kind of feeling, right? Where they know that this is not real, this human experience, this human journey. They know they are not this. But so many around them are in it. And when you are in that adolescent stage, the third dimensional ego needs to fit in. It needs to belong. It needs to be seen and liked and loved, right? And so the adolescent / 21, 22, 23-year-old people that are awakening right now are in this purgatory place where they're in hell almost. And it's very, very challenging because they are going through this almost quietly. And they are holding a huge amount of anxiety or depression or anger because they can't figure out how to get out of this sort of hole that where they're in the middle, right? Here's 3D, here's kind of 5D. And a lot of these children, adolescents, are holding much more of a 5D consciousness now. The ascension process is designed for these younger beings to go through it quicker, faster, easier. Why? Because they don't have as much dirt in their glass. So it's not going to be as challenging as it is for us. They are going to be able to sort of leapfrog and naturally shift much easier than we are. But there are many teenagers and many sort of adolescents that are in this purgatory state where they're in hell and they can't figure out how to get out. They can't figure out how to jump out because they are in a third dimensional body that still has this ego, and the adolescent ego is intense. And there's a stage of this third dimensional egoic structure that needs to fit in. It needs to be liked. I mean, that goes on for many years, right? Perhaps even right now. But it begins in that adolescent stage. But if you have a toddler, if you have, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old, they are feeling, many of them are feeling the shifts, whether they are conscious of it or not. And it is up to their human journey how they're going to navigate it. So you as a parent can't necessarily shift them, but you can begin to stand in your knowingness, stand in your truth, teach from an aspect of being, meaning you're in the kitchen cooking, and you're recognizing that today you felt all these different emotions, right? And you understand that that's a physical shift. You talk about it. It's not taboo. A lot of times as parents, we're afraid to talk about what's actually happening because we think that the child or the adolescent or whoever it is won't be able to understand. It's too much for them. It will overwhelm them. Quite the opposite. Make it normal. Make it okay. Because many of these children are holding it in. They think they're crazy. They think there's something wrong with them, right? They can hear things, they can see things, they can feel things, and yet nobody around them is talking about it, so they think they're crazy. Meanwhile, you as a parent are experiencing the same stuff. So to make it very normal, to normalize everything you're going through out loud, not for the purpose of making sure they shift with you, but just normalizing it. It's not this white elephant in the room. You don't have to hide and protect and pretend it's not happening, right? You normalize it as much as you possibly can. You start talking about it as early as you possibly can. Because they're with you as they have chosen you as a parent for a reason. But they also have free will, and you have to allow them that free will. So a lot of parents are going to say, oh my God, my child's not awakening. My child's not awakening. My child's not awakening. Are they going to shift? Are they going to shift? Are they going to shift? Don't worry. Stay present. They may and they may not. But this shift in consciousness is not a physical separation. You are not going to physically leave and go to some other planet. You're not going to separate and physically be gone. Your children aren't going to disappear and go to some other third dimensional earth plane while you exit and go to some other earth plane. That's not what happens. And if anyone's telling you that, shame on them. You're in this with all other humans. It's the arena that is shifting, the entire arena. You are going to be shifting while other humans don't shift. So if you have this fear of leaving people behind or them not coming with you, please let that go. Yes, You are shifting into higher states of consciousness. And yes, there may be humans in your life that aren't necessarily shifting in the same way you are right now. And so what that's going to look like is you're going to see things differently. You're going to respond to things differently. You're going to buy into different paradigms, right? You're not going to believe the same things, perhaps. You're not going to respond, react the same way. That's okay. It doesn't mean that you are separating from each other's lives. There is no separation. There is no see you later, I've ascended. It's all happening on the same earth plane, in different dimensional fields, in the same body, in this now. So if you have this anxiety over, oh my God, are my children going to come with me? They may or they may not right now. You know, it took me from the age of 13 to 39 before I jumped into my work and started doing this and saying, yes, let's go. And my mother might have said, oh my God, my daughter's, she's not going to do her work. She's not going to do her work. She's 25. She's not doing her work. She's 33. She's not doing her work. What do I need to do? What do I need to do? But she didn't do that. She allowed me to move through my human journey with no attachment other than trust. And then at 39, she finally starts to do her work. I finally start to do my work, right? So let go of controlling it. Let go of fear that your children aren't going to ascend, that you're not doing it right, that you're not assisting them. Be the higher states. Be the ascension process. Be it. Speak about it as if you would speak about going to a movie or going grocery shopping. Normalize it, and then they will start to hear. They will start to say, oh, I heard my mom talking about that, and I'm feeling that now. Right? You just make it normal. But back to your original question, the children, the toddlers, the very young, they're going to ascend in a very different way than we are right now. It'll be a much smoother process. Okay. No, does having children create a karma that has to be resolved before? No, it doesn't. I'm Aquarius. I think, Louise, that it helps to be outside. Although I haven't been outside in a while, but I know as soon as I step outside, I shift frequencies right away. Animals are 5D, yes. Almost all animals are 5D. They see right through the third dimension. We don't accumulate karma. There is no karmic cycle. There is no karma unless you want to play in that. Karma is a third dimensional paradigm. And when you start to move into higher frequencies and start to hold these higher frequencies and start to remember what this is all about, you no longer recognize or play in that karmic cycle. From a higher dimension and from a higher perspective, karma doesn't even make sense because you always have free will. And so there really isn't anything to play out other than the now moment, right? There's contracts, which is very different than karma, right? So you may have contracts with people, but even contracts are being dissolved because in a 5D state, there are no contracts. There's no contracts in a 5D state. There are no lessons. There's none of that in a 5D state, in a 5D field. So we start to dissolve all of that. We start to let all that go, right? It's just a choice. Dogs are not 2D. No way. Not from my experience. They've got a 3D body, but they're holding 5D consciousness. They may not be able to speak, but they're holding 5D consciousness. Go hang out with a dog for a second and tell me you don't feel unconditional love. That's not 2D. Tell me when you sit with an animal that you don't feel deeply connected to something way beyond you. You don't feel something beyond the ego, right? Some dogs are neurotic. I don't know much about 1D and 2D. You have 12 dogs? That's awesome. I want a dog. What's coming next? I think, well, there's an infinite amount of possibilities. There's an infinite amount of ways that this can unravel. I've seen many different ways of this, of what we're in now, unraveling. I've seen a future. My guides have shown me a future where it's very third dimensional still, but it is more of a advanced technology third dimension, like artificial intelligence and reproducing based on stem cells and creating different human forms by merging other human forms and blending DNA and things like that, right? I've seen that path, which is very third dimensional. So 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, they have shown me that as an option. They have also shown me a very high frequency fifth dimensional option, right? Which is what you would consider New Earth, where it is us standing in physical forms, vibrating in a much higher field, experiencing unity. And there's no government, the system. There's no contractual systems where we are contracted to things. There's no monetary system. There's no killing of anything other than nothing. There's no killing of anything, right? So they've shown me that kind of path, right? And there's many different kind of paths or timelines in between that. But there is a third dimensional path that's going to unravel. There is a fifth dimensional path, right, that's going to unravel. And the human has free will in terms of which direction they're going to go. And there's no right or wrong. No right or wrong. There will be a third dimension for a very, very, very long time. But there will also be a fifth dimension. And there will be a massive split in a while. Okay, maybe not in this lifetime, but there will be an actual sort of physical split. 100 years from now, kind of linear years, right? 200 linear years. Right? Throw time out the door. But if we were to try to describe it right now in the frequency that we're in, it would be 100 years from now, 200 years from now, where there would be a really massive physical split in the dimensions. And so you would be experiencing a very different reality than the humans that are holding 3D. But what I'm holding and what I am always being shown is this constant shift into embodying and holding higher frequencies in the body and opening up into and being this 5D consciousness so that it becomes an every now moment for us, so that we are embodied and being 5D consciousness in every now and not having that dirt in the water any longer, right? That's the outcome. And then from that outcome, there is a 7D sort of outcome, right? So once the human, because Adam, you may not be here as you, the consciousness that you are, right? But once in 5D, anchored physically in 5D, then we begin to move into 6D. And then we begin to move into 7D. And to try to figure out like what that's going to look like is almost impossible. But there is much more density in the external that is going to unravel. There will be a massive pedophile ring that is going to come out. Massive. Way bigger than anything we've been experiencing. Okay. There will be this unraveling of a governmental structure that we didn't realize, or many of us, a lot of us right now realize this, but there is a underbelly governmental structure that has been controlling all of us, right? We call it the deep state. That's going to unravel. There are many, many humans that we have seen as amazing, beautiful, loving humans that are going to be called out in this pedophile ring. So those are two massive things that are going to be unraveling in the next 6 months. On top of disclosure physically, meaning UFO structures, light beings that are going to actually physically be moving onto the earth plane so that we can physically start to see them. That's going to be coming. Now, how these play out kind of depends on how we are doing inside the arena. Meaning, what are we capable of holding? Right? The Black Lives Matter, the racism that needed to come up so that we can unify racism, so that we can unify into one unified human experience. That came up in this now moment because the human body wasn't ready for what was actually going to unravel first, right? So it's all based on what we are capable of holding in the physical form, because we have to digest that external. Do you understand? It's all consciousness. So we have to digest that external, which means our bodies need to be able to hold it and to experience it, to feel it, and to alchemize it. That's how we shift the collective. And if it's too intense, if it's too much, and the humans' physical bodies, the light workers, way showers, starseeds, the warriors, their bodies aren't ready, then it won't unravel yet. There's a much bigger divine plan playing out. So Black Lives Matter was an absolute necessity, right? And there are many things that have unraveled with Black Lives Matter, right? The BLM movement. It's a unifying. It's a bringing together. But the next thing that's coming, it's going to bulldoze BLM, bulldoze it. And so we have to be prepared physically in our bodies to be able to stand in the arena and hold it. You see, we are designed, you guys, all of us as light workers, way showers, starseeds, whatever you want to call it, we are designed to not play in it. But it's challenging to not play in it, meaning not take sides. In the beginning, when things unravel, we will take sides because we are learning how to not take sides, which is duality. So that we can continue to not take sides as things continue to unravel so that we can alchemize it. It's easier to alchemize when we stay neutral because you don't play in it. When you perpetuate that which you are trying to alchemize, it becomes very challenging to alchemize it. It's almost as if you are chewing on the burger and you're continuing to chew on the burger and you never swallow the burger. So when you take sides, there's nothing wrong with taking sides, but when you take sides, you are chewing on, you are perpetuating that which you are designed to alchemize, to swallow. You understand? So when we are watching this all unravel, it is almost impossible to not take sides right now because we are learning how to not take sides. So watch yourself as you take sides because you are designed to stand in a neutral place. Take a bite out of that, chew it, and digest it. Alchemize it. By feeling it, seeing it, acknowledging it, and understanding from a higher perspective that this is the dirt and the collective that's shifting and alchemizing into the light. So that the next time something bigger, denser unravels, we can stand in our physical forms. We can take a bite out of that consciousness. We can chew it and digest it and alchemize it without perpetuating it by taking sides. How hard is it going to be to not take a side on the pedophile ring? Sorry, I think I'll be taking a side until you don't take a side. Do you understand? So there's nothing wrong with taking sides until you no longer take a side. COVID was just the beginning of a kick in the ass of a physical shift in consciousness. Millions of humans Millions of humans woke up. People are coming on that are crazy. Millions of humans woke up right now with COVID. Millions. We are learning through COVID how to not take sides. Because think about how we are being pushed to take sides. Look at how strong polarity is. Look at how powerful polarity is right now, which is this is the right way. No, this is the right way. No, this is the right way. No, this is the right way. Your whole head is going crazy. What's the right way? We are practicing how to not take a side. That we're safe and sovereign. We are free. That we are free in here. We're free. Nobody's taking anything from you when you come in, when you come home. And that's what we're learning. That's how you stand in the arena. And you just watch yourself as you're navigating it. And the other thing we want to realize is many of us will feel like taking a stand. That's great. That's the role you're here to play. Many need to take a stand. Many need to speak up. Many need to protest. Many need to say no, 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 no more. We need those just as much as we need the humans to stand and not engage. Do you understand? There is no right. You cannot say to somebody, you need to be speaking up. You need to be protesting. Silence is violence. That's not fair. We need a variety of humans right now to navigate this. We need a variety of humans, and we have to allow that variety to be. We are not all going to be the same way. The best way to shift the collective is to have as many players out there doing all these different unique techniques. And one of them is to stand in the light, holding higher frequencies in a neutral place, not doing anything. We have to learn to let the human do what the human is going to do. If you feel called to go protest and stand up and speak up and do all the things you need to do, beautiful. That's your resonance. That's what you're here to do. You're here to speak. You're here to say no freaking way. You're here to explode that. You're here to bring it up and say, look at this. Look at this. No way. No more, right? Beautiful. And there's a lot of us that are not resonating and designed to do it that way. And by making that wrong, you're perpetuating what you are alchemizing. So can you stand in the arena in whatever role you're playing, protesting, standing up, speaking, educating, whatever that is, and at the same time allowing every other human to be and do however they're going to be and do? It's practice. Okay, it's an hour and 40 minutes. Holy Moses. Okay, I'm going to go now. Wow. How did it get this late? I have no idea what just happened. Okay. I love you guys. Thanks for staying with me this whole time, if you did. It's been an honor to connect with you and to bring through these messages. Be gentle with yourself. You know, a lot of times it's the same messages that sort of come through from the Galactic Federation of Light. And I'm always asking like, God, this sounds like the same message. It sounds like the same message. And they're always like, yeah, because the human needs to hear it over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. We forget. We need a kick in the ass over and over and over and over to remember. Give yourself more love, not less. Give yourself more love, more love. Give as many humans as you can more love right now. It is intense out there, okay? And we're all doing the best we can. And you're here to go through this. There's nothing wrong with what you're going through. There's nothing wrong with what you're experiencing. Reframe it. It's a physical shift inside the body, and you are nailing it, even though you may be judging it. Okay? That's what they're saying right now. You're nailing it. You're okay. You've got this. That's why you're here. I love you. Thanks for being here.